All right, guys, we telling me. I hope all of you are doing well. Oh, come on, man. I wish I was in the crowd right now. I know all of you are so beautiful, man. Beautiful people, beautiful supporters, bro. You know what? You know what? If you got a crush on that girl, you know, you think you're in the friend zone or you're debating whether you want to ask her out, bro, ask her out because you're a catch. You're a king. You're a legend. You're that guy, bro. You are him, okay? You are him. Go and ask her out. She's lucky to have you. It's hard to make my microphone stay still, but I'm grateful to have you guys as supporters and viewers of me as well. Now, today we're going to be talking about two things. We're going to talk about Klarna and what's happening with Klarna, ClearPay, all these buy now, pay later services. I'm also going to talk about how NatWest, or formerly known as RBS, is now fully private. Like, this is huge, because if you take a look at the state of the economy right now, especially in this country, a lot of it traces back to what RBS did. And I think it was like nearly 40 billion bailout that the British government had to pay them to bail them out, to stop the whole British banking system collapsing. So it all comes hand in hand. So I thought I'd cover both of them together. So leave a like on the video, guys. Let's get that out of the way. So let me start off by summarizing 2008 for you guys quickly, just off the top of my head. If I'm wrong about anything, guys, correct me below. I haven't got long to edit this video, so I'm probably gonna maybe not. If I'm really wrong, I'll correct myself on the screen. You know how we go in these videos, guys. It was pretty much just bankers gambling. You know, to save you guys time. It's just bankers that kept gambling. It had something to do with them gambling on subprime mortgages in the United States. Pretty much, like, this was 2008 times. Before that, like, anyone could get a loan, bro. There was such thing as credit checks, yes, but they were giving out credit to anybody. You know what I mean? They would give a mortgage to anybody. They would, like, it was in America. I've seen documentaries of how crazy it was. How there was one banker guy, I'm sure you guys will know what story I'm referring to, but there was one banker guy who was in a strip club. Or was it a movie? Was it a made up movie? I think it was The Big Short. The Big Short. Go and watch The Big Short. It is one of the best. If you're into financial movies like Wolf of Wall Street, like The Big Short, those are two of my favorite movies of all time. I love these finance movies that, I don't know, kind of nerdy, I don't know, but they're my favorite type of movies. And in the movie, he's in a strip club. He's talking to a stripper, and the stripper says, "Hey, I got 3 mortgages." And that's when he leaves the strip club like, "Yeah, it's gonna crash sooner than I thought."
200% on all my loans.
What do you mean all your loans? We're talking about 2 loans on 1 house, right?
I have 5 houses and a condo.
There's also other people saying, like, yeah, when you're getting homeless people giving you stock advice, you know, it's same thing here. You've got homeless people, not necessarily homeless people, but kids telling you the best crypto coin to buy. You know a crash is about to come, or a crash is imminent. And when it crashed, one of the worst banks hit was UK bank RBS. NatWest invested in a Dutch bank at the worst possible time. They just owed so much money, they were done out here. And if RBS, now known as NatWest Group PLC, publicly traded, fully privately owned now, if it collapsed, then the whole banking system in this country could have collapsed, and that would have been that's not an option. Obviously that was not an option, so they had to bail them out. If we go here, obviously I've been reading this BBC article. UK taxpayers no longer own NatWest, but 17 years on, are banks safer from collapse? That is a good question. One thing I will say is the government going through this experience better prepares them for the future. It better prepares them for the future. But this 2008 crisis is the reason why things like Klarna, ClearPay exist. They're the reason. This crash is the reason why it's so hard to get credit now. There's so many checks, there's so many different things that is so difficult now, because they were giving credit out to anyone before, but they just messed it up. It was greedy bankers, bro. Like, and they were selling debt that they knew was bad, and they were paying regulators. It's all in The Big Short. They were paying regulators to certify debt as A-rated, you know, like safe debt to buy, when it was really terrible debt to buy. It was mortgages with people who didn't even have a job. People could get mortgages without even having a freaking job. It was crazy. But one thing that crash taught a lot of people is that when the market goes down, it will always come back up. And it's true, because you're basically gambling on capitalism. Is capitalism gonna stop? No. Then the market's gonna recover. It's gonna eventually recover. You know what I mean? Monday, 13th of October 2008, they were finalizing the detail of the biggest state intervention in the private sector since World War II. At the time, RBS, NatWest's outstanding loans were bigger than the entire UK economy. Do you see what it is, guys? They were owed more than the entire UK economy. A UK bank. They were owed more than the entire UK economy, bro. It's ridiculous, a joke thing. The amount of staff they ended up having to lay off between 2008 and 2024, a lot of people lost their jobs. But you could make the case that in this situation, it did save more people by bailing them out. 100%. It needed to be done. Gone are 1.5 trillion pounds in outstanding loans. Gone are tens of thousands of employees in job cuts. And gone is around 10 billion of taxpayers' money. Adjusted for inflation, that's like 23 billion pounds, by the way. Everyone who lives and contributes to this economy, to this country, is gonna have to be paying back. You know what I mean? Like that's all coming out of what the tax I just got a message. I literally just got a letter. It's over there that's telling me about the business rates I have to pay for this place. I'm just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? As my granddad said, in England, you cannot get away with nothing. There's nothing you can get away with in this country, bro. As it says here, look, risky loans to borrowers with low credit ratings had been packaged up and sold to banks around the world. So a lot of it was fraud. You know what I mean? A lot of it was fraud. It was these banks, you know, Western banks, like giving people mortgages that they knew people wouldn't be able to pay back. Or maybe they didn't know. Maybe they thought they could keep building this thing up and it would never stop. But these people couldn't pay it back. They then go to some bank in Japan or something and just say, yo, we got these loans we want to sell you, bro. Oh, they're AAA rated. You know, Deutsche Bank. Yeah, Deutsche Bank. Huge bank. Deutsche Bank just rated these loans AAA rating. Like, these are amazing loans. You should buy them from us. And we'll actually give you a little discount because we got so many of them. Japanese banks buys them. Japanese banks screwed. You get what I'm saying? That's what was going on, bro. Well, the government also bought a stake in Lloyd's. But in 2017, well, this time in 2017, so 8 years ago, they sold it for £900 million profit. RBS was infinitely more complicated than Lloyd's as it had a large US business which was subject to lengthy investigations by the US Department of Justice. They were fined $5 billion in 2018 for their role in the US mortgage crisis. RBS was also a pretty unattractive investment. It announced a £24 billion loss for 2008, the biggest loss in UK corporate history. It made losses every single year until 2017. But look at the assets that they had before and look at the assets they have now. They have less. They have close to £1 trillion in assets in 2024. But a lot of these assets probably weren't even real. It was just repackaged debt, repackaged mortgages that were given, that were over. You know, you get what I'm getting at, guys. Like, this figure probably isn't even true. You know, adjusted for inflation, that would be like 3 trillion. Nah, more than that, like 3.5 trillion. But guys, what does this have to do with Klarna and ClearPay? Well, as you guys can see on CNBC, Klarna doubles losses in first quarter as IPO remains on hold. Hey, my people, if you could give the video a like, it'd be very much appreciated. Costs nothing, takes no time, takes 5 minutes. Like the video, please. Thank you very much. Nice one. What is an IPO? IPO is initial public offering. It's going to be the initial price that they list, that the company is listed for on the stock exchange. They've had to put the IPO on hold because Klarna said its net loss for the first 3 months of 2025 totaled $100 million, significantly worse than the $47 million loss it reported a year ago. So these lot have lost $100 million in the first 3 months. The Swedish payment startup said this was due to several one-off costs related to depreciation, share-based payments, and restructuring. It comes as Klarna remains in pause mode regarding a highly anticipated US IPO that was set to value the SoftBank-backed company at over $15 billion. $15 billion. Come on. I think this is a joke thing. So you guys probably wondering, like I was wondering, how does Klarna, ClearPay, how do these companies even make money if people pay it back interest-free? Well, they actually charge a higher fee than a credit card fee or a debit card fee. So Klarna will charge, let's say, I have a shop and I offer Klarna as an option for people to buy stuff. Klarna will take 6% of the fee, whereas credit card fees can be like 2 to 3% for MasterCard, Maestro, Visa. The fees can be like 1 to 2%. 3% sometimes. A lot of people don't like taking American Express because American Express's fees are extremely high. They're some of the highest out there. And they also charge interest if you fail to make your payments on time. And you might be thinking, well, why would a shop use Klarna or ClearPay if they're going to have to give up more of their money to another company? Well, studies clearly must be showing that more people are more likely to check out and not leave their baskets without paying if Klarna or ClearPay is available. And also, it's taking risk away from the company. Because a lot of shops, I've got an Argos card, I've got a John Lewis card, and I've got another shop card I don't even remember, I haven't even used in years, but I know that they collaborate with a credit card company to do to borrow the money to you on their behalf, if that makes sense. They're not loaning out their own money. They're not giving it to you on credit. The credit card company is paying them straight away, and then you have a debt to the credit card company that they partnered up with. It says Klarna put its IPO plans on hold due to market turbulence caused by Donald Trump. StubHub said the same. I thought StubHub was owned by eBay. Prior to the IPO delay, Klarna had been on a marketing blitz touting itself as an AI-powered fintech. The company has partnered up with ChatGPT. A year later, Klarna used to create. Okay, all right. Bottom line, Klarna is just another middleman who's been taking hella losses. And as I've said, guys, like in this new world, like being the middleman is where it's at. Because it's not Klarna's money, bro. Like Klarna's, I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, guys. I'd assume that Klarna borrows the money from a bank at a low interest rate and then uses it to pay the business and then waits on the consumer to pay them back to repay them the loan money with a profit on top. So the way I see it, so the way I think it works is cool. There's a jacket on sale at JD for £100, all right? Klarna charges 6%, so Klarna only needs to give JD £94. Klarna takes out a loan from the bank at a very low interest rate for £94 because they only need to give JD £94. JD gets their £94. Klarna says to me, I owe them £100. I have to pay them back in 30 days. I pay Klarna back the £100 in 30 days. Klarna's paid, let's just say £1 interest on that £94 that they paid to JD. So Klarna's made £5. I think that is how their business model works. And it says they've got over 100 million month active users. So can you imagine how much that can scale to? But they're nothing more than a glorified middleman, in my opinion. You're just a middleman, to be honest. And the only reason why ClearPay, Klarna are even able to exist is because people with perfectly fine credit are struggling to get credit because of the 2008 crisis. And also it encourages people to buy things they don't need. It encourages people to buy things they don't need. I have a Klarna. I don't have a ClearPay, but I have a Klarna. I've had a Klarna for years. And I've used it on purchases where it's just easier, where it's like, oh, I can't be asked to type in my card. Let me just pay by Klarna. Just have to send me a text, verify, bang, pay that back whenever. You know, that's what I liked about Klarna. And the main reason why Klarna's model is flawed is because if people just don't pay them back, they're gonna lose. Because going the court route is expensive, time consuming, and nobody wants to do it. I mean, you're gonna be going for people who have no money to pay you back $500 anyway, so that you can't do that. Then let's say you sell the debt to debt collectors, you're only selling that debt for 30%. You know what I mean? Debt collectors will only buy it for 30% because the debt collectors are gonna say, okay, what are these people's credit ratings? This is going to be difficult to get. This is going to take a long time. We'll pay you 30%. We'll pay you 20%, maybe even 10%. And then Klarna automatically has to write that off as a loss. So I don't see it as a viable business model. I don't. Because people are always not going to pay. But on the other hand, with a credit card, you know what I mean? There are going to be people who default on credit cards, etc. Okay, you're bankrupt, cool, whatever. But there will be people who will pay their credit cards for life. You know, who just, for like years upon years, they don't mind just constantly making the minimum payments on their credit card, and that will cover the losses, and that'll make them. You get what I'm saying, guys? Yeah. Anyway, guys, I should be fully better tomorrow. I should be back to 100% tomorrow. Trap La Ross podcast coming out soon. Multiple videos a day is going to be coming back soon. Once I recover, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love to all of you.